you tight yet because it's early.
I'm just glad to hear the spotters are concerned about how they're getting in holes that aren't there too, because
scared you.
As the broadcaster, I'm like, how does that work? How are they fitting in there? And you could hear the concern from the spotter. A little early to be trying to get and squeeze into a guy's lane, and we've seen a lot of that today.
Hermie has more on Jeb Burton.
Well, Steve, this team just needs a solid, uneventful top 5 run. I think that's part of why you heard the reaction from the spotter. And it's been so far so good today for the 13. It came down pit road, got fuel only, a little bit tight on exit, but they left it alone thinking the fuel would change the balance a little bit, and the 13 is making his way towards the front, Ray.
Joey Logano has gone from the front row back to 14th position. He's been on the radio telling his crew chief, Doug Randolph, there's something wrong with the right front. He said, I can't tell for sure if it's a shock or whether we've got the fender beat in somehow, but he said, whatever it is, I've got a bad balance in the right front.
Well, that car truck was so good early on in this race. Joey's going to stay out there, hopefully to try to catch a caution flag so they can get down pit road and work on that truck.
We've seen the attitude of these trucks. A lot of them are up a little bit on the right front on the straightaway, and they're down on the turns. I wonder if we can get a good look at the front of the lead trucks and see if we can see any difference in how they look on the straightaways as opposed to Logano's. They're pretty much flat on the ground all the way across, huh, Phil?
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. How about a call for Spencer Gallagher right now, just outside the top 10 in that Legionnaire Chevrolet for GMS Racing. Doing a nice job here. Had a top 5 run here in the ARCA race back in June. So he has a little bit of track knowledge here and doing a great job.
And we talked a little bit about the speed of the BKR trucks. Brad's trucks haven't been as fast this weekend as we're used to seeing. And both of them, Logano especially falling back, but that's our pole sitter there. Ryan Blaney struggling to stay inside the top 10 is going to get a charge here from Taylor Malsom on the bottom.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney 9th. Taking a look at Taylor Malsom, who takes a look at the inside.
And I don't think it's a situation where he's in fuel conservation mode, because we know that Kyle Busch is in the same boat he is. He stopped on lap number 12, and he's right now several seconds, 14 seconds ahead of Ryan Blaney.
There's Jason White pulling up on the tailgate of Ryan Blaney, getting a little bit of a push there.
See Spencer Gallagher, the 23 on the inside of Jay White. That's that blue truck on the inside.
Give a call to Ben Kennedy there. He's joining this battle as well. All these trucks racing inside the top 15.
Jay White's best career finish came right here at Michigan a couple years ago.
Rode home in second, did he?
Sure did.
Back up front.
You want on your bumper. He knows you're coming. He knows you're coming.
Well, don't you know that Kyle Busch is in a perfect spot right now? He pitted on lap number 12.
coming with us. 17's coming with us.
And he's saving a lot of gas right now.
Just drafting along behind his other truck, and that 54, our leader, is going to come to pit road this lap, it sounds like. As is Timothy Peters. So Kyle Busch will go high, Bubba to the bottom, make a green flag pit stop here.
Yeah, remember the 54 and the 17 stayed out when everybody else came to pit road when the first caution was displayed.
So we'll call this coming in on lap number 38. Remember, they had pace laps at the start of this thing that burned some fuel out.
Ray Dunlap.
Here's the deal, Steve. They could have stayed out 5 more laps, and Jerry Baxter, his crew chief, was saying, let's not come this early. But moments ago, Bubba said the water temperature is climbing, climbing, climbing. And you can see there's a piece of debris on the left front of the grill, so they will have to get that off of there. It went from about 230 to 265. They'll have to clean that grill. They'll put Sunoco fuel in, hang 4 Goodyear tires on it. They're going to pull tape off, and now they get that grill clean. Bubba will go back to the racetrack, but an early pit stop.
Bubba is able to win the battle off of pit road. Timothy Peters, the 17, will pull out right behind him. They probably took some tape off. They may not have needed that. As much debris was on that grill, they may have been okay just cleaning it.
So Kyle Busch inherits the lead with a pit stop. He's followed by Jeb Burton, veteran Ron Hornaday, Johnny Sauter, and Matt Crafton. We'll be right back.
The playoff race is in full swing. It's time for Jeter, Longoria, and Holiday. Because one throw,
What a play!
one hit, or one play can make the difference. Don't miss a baseball doubleheader. Today at 3:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Glad you're back with us. 43 laps of 100 complete. Kyle Busch, there he is in the 51 at the front. He's followed by Jeb Burton and Ron Hornaday. And the owner of Brad Keselowski Racing, the aforementioned Brad Keselowski, has joined us. Brad, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, glad to be here. Thank you, Steve, for having me.
Great qualifying effort by your bunch today.
Yeah, you know, Ryan Blaney and his spotter, Joey Meyer, did a great job of just being on the track, which apparently was all it took.
Wasn't it cool how you got first by being the only guy on the track, and you got second by setting the world record for a pickup truck on a closed course? 187 miles an hour for Joey Logano.
Michael, you remember when you were a kid and your parents used to tell you that showing up is half the battle?
Yeah.
Well, I think we just saw that in qualifying today for the truck series, and I was very proud of that. But we wanted to stay up in the front, and we're fading a little bit here, so we got to work on them a little bit. Have a pit stop coming up to do just that, Phil.
Yeah. And probably one more stop for you guys. We were talking about that during a commercial break. Everybody, your guys pitted on lap number 12. It's going to be close to make it on one stop.
Very close. You know, I think it's going to take at least one yellow to make it on one stop as I was doing the math there. And we'll probably get one more yellow. You know, I doubt we'll stay strung out this long.
Have you listened to the radio transmission between the team and the crew chief? What's going on with this 29 truck that started up so strong and he's faded back to the 8th spot now?
Well, I haven't been able to hear what they've been saying, but I know before the race, Joey and Ryan both were commenting how they had a lot of short run speed. So we're counting, you know, as the race strategy unfolds with crew chiefs, they always try to have a truck that's good on short run and long runs, but sometimes you can't find that. We couldn't find that in practice, so they favored the short runs. And what they're hoping for is a late race restart with a lot of speed in the short run side where they can drive to the front and hopefully win the race.
Brad, I want to mention, too, we saw the piece in the setup show with Chris Devoda and the great work by you and your foundation, the Career for Veterans 200 and Cooper Standard. It was a great piece.
Yeah, thank you. You guys did a great job. You know, it is a cause that's near and dear to our heart, and that's really how my relationship with Cooper Standard got started. And, you know, we've done a lot of great things with veterans. I had the Race to Recovery program for a number of years and transitioned this year to supporting the Careers for Veterans. And we have over 2,300 people in the stands today, and a good portion of them are veterans. And I think you look back to the history of NASCAR. You know, NASCAR was started in 1948, and a lot of the people that were behind the wheel and owners and mechanics came right from World War II. And so there's always been a real close connection between military and NASCAR from the get-go, and it's great to see that carry on here.
And the very first champion, Red Byron, the first time I heard about him, they always say World War II flying ace, Red Byron.
Yes. And NASCAR champion, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's great to keep that going, and we hope other people will follow on with that.
I started to say before we had that shot of all the blue shirts up in the grandstands that I saw a lot of blue shirts today down in the infield in the grandstands.
There's an onboard shot of Ryan Blaney battling his pickup truck down into turn 3. Barely out of the gas. He's up to 7th now, so it feels like maybe that truck's coming around a little bit. He fell pretty quickly from the lead pack back to the back part of the top 10, and now he's stabilized at least.
See Timothy Peters right there. He made a pit stop under green here. Back on lap number 38. He, along with Bubba Wallace, and Bubba Wallace right now has got himself back on the lead lap. Timothy Peters trying to do that, trying to get by Johnny Sauter. They find themselves about 5 seconds behind Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Timothy really needs the race to stay green and for the cycles to complete to get back in rhythm here. And that's the risk you take when you stay out in those situations. You know, you can be a hero or zero very easily depending on how the cautions fall.
Jason White in that 9 truck is going to try to follow Joey Coulter by the 29. And there's Spencer Gallery. You're right. You got to tip your cap to Spencer today. He made the final round of knockout qualifying and now solidly running up in the 11th spot.
May make his way by that 9 truck of Jason White to move up into the top 10. He does.
Now, what you're seeing there, Michael, and I know you guys have been talking about it, but the drafting. Oh, my gosh. You know, you run the high lane, you get the big draft. So when you're faster in the corner, you pull down to the bottom and make the pass. You got to be able to get it cleared. Otherwise, you won't get the high lane for the straightaway.
I think your man's coming to pit lane here.
And we are halfway. 50 laps complete.
Red. Get all you can here. 4,600, 2 red. 4,600 right here. All the way.
Ryan Blaney to pit road, our pole sitter and points leader.
That was Bubba Wallace unlapping himself.
He was just behind Kyle Busch.
Gets him in a good spot for the caution to fly here.
Ray Dunlap is there.
Not necessarily in their fuel window here, but Ryan Blaney said his truck has really gone to the tight side. They've got a little piece of debris on the grill also. They'll take a tear off on the windshield, pack that thing full of Sunoco fuel. Not sure if they've noticed. Yes, there they will. They'll try to clean that piece off. It falls off, and the careers for veteran number 29 back to the racetrack. They pitted on lap 51.
All right, thanks, Ray. Mason Mingus also to pit road. The 23 of Spencer Gallagher also down off the racetrack.
Looks like Kyle Busch is making his way to pit road as well.
I think he might be out of gas. Look how he's weaving the truck back and forth.
So we talked about the pit window being somewhere around 40 laps.
Attack and not compensate on the low side. 46 right here.
If he's out of gas, he doesn't have a pack, so I guess maybe he's just feeling like it was running out, Brad.
Well, he's weaving a lot, which is usually what you do when you think you're running out, right, Michael?
Yes, sir. And I think he is out because he's going below the pit road speed.
Way below the pit road speed.
He just turned his switches off. He may try to restart it before he gets down to his pit stall.
And these trucks are very hard to start when they're out of gas. He's got a long ways to go all the way to the end of pit road. You know, the Cup cars have fuel injection, and they'll start right back up. But the trucks and the Nationwide cars do not. They run most of them with cable drive. It's very hard to get these things started back up when they run out of gas.
Ray Dunlap.
They've got the bottle in, and they've got it fired up, but it stalls once again. Trying to get that fuel in there is tough. Kyle keeps turning it over. They're pumping fuel in. They've also squirting it in at the cowl. They've got the 4 tires on it, but the engine is not fired back up yet. It did once, but then it stalled again. Kyle sitting here with no power yet. They're going to continue to try to get it fired up. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Johnny Sauter hits his pit stall a little bit too tight on exit. A little bit of a wedge adjustment for the 98. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. They got to get this truck better on acceleration. The 32 of Taylor Mawson, he's had a pretty good race truck. He's been a little bit free the entire run. 4 tires and air pressure adjustment only for Taylor Mawson. Also, Ron Hornaday down and away. Jeb Burton, a very slow stop on the 13. A lot of trouble on the left rear, Ray.
Number 88, Matt Crafton, saying his truck was really tight early. It continued to stay that way, especially on the exit of number 4. So they're going to make an air pressure adjustment on the right side of his Menards Toyota. Here he comes down in. They'll go for a 4-tire stop here. This will be lap 54 as he came off of the racetrack. Continue to plug that fuel in. Hang the tires on the right side. Come back around. Somewhat of a lengthy stop here. Not as long as Kyle Busch is so far. They get the left side tires on. And Crafton is down and back to the racetrack.
All right, thanks, guys. Also want to point out Jeb Burton in the 13 was running 4th when he came to pit road. It looks like trouble on the left rear.
He's having trouble. Like the Giant needs another pump there, and he's calling for that. The Giant man gives it to him, but certainly cost a lot of time. And then the change doesn't go well either.
I think right now, with as early as most of these trucks came down pit road, they may not be able to make it from here because most of these trucks pitted back on lap number 52, 53, 54. That's going to be a long while. They're going to take some caution laps like you were mentioning, Brad.
Yeah, the field's just starting to cycle back out, and here you see Bubba Wallace to the lead. He's in great shape. He's got over a 5-second lead on Timothy Peters, and those two are on the same pit cycle, and everyone has to pit one more time, so they're in great shape. Oh, see the splitter tore off the 19. That's a big deal.
And he thought he had a problem with the right front, and it looks like it's the whole front end there.
The whole nose is broke.
That's the deal, Phil. They came on and said, look, we've got a much bigger issue than we thought. The entire lower section of the nose has come loose. We'll have to see. You would think they would get some bare bond and try to lift that up and see if they can secure it as they put left side tires on here. Joey had been on the radio saying we definitely have an aero issue for sure. And there comes the bare bond. They'll see if they can pull it up a little bit. They do. They get that thing tight on there. They might be able to salvage that. They didn't really close the gap much, but the 19 will go back to the track. He pitted on 56.
Yeah, you're not going to fix that. That's a major issue for sure.
See right there, that gap is not supposed to be there. That's supposed to be solid, and that's letting air get in there. And you would think that splitter is going to continue to hit the racetrack, and part of that splitter's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, it wore right through the splitter, and you really need all that for the downforce.